The Late Night Legends podcast is meant for an adult audience only. It may contain sexually oriented content. Content may not be suitable for sensitive listeners. Please be aware of your surroundings. Listener discretion is advised.
Watch out. I feel you in these walls. You're a cold that creeping in, shimmy to my bones and skin. I heard you down the hall, but it's vacant when I'm looking in. Oh, who let you in? You walk around like you own the place, but you'll never say anything. I caught you walking straight through my walls. Guess it was all my fault. I think I let you in. Never thought that I would feel like this. Such a mess when I'm in your presence. I had enough that you were making me sick. Gotta get you out of my system, yeah. It's my house, and I think it's time to get out. It's my soul, it isn't yours anymore. It's my house, and I think it's time to get out. And yeah, I think it's time to get out.
I could. Hello, hi, welcome. This is Joan, your local HR representative for this podcast, The Late Night Legends. Not only am I HR, but I am also a host along with our other hosts, Jesse, Charlie, Frank, and Kay. Tonight, we are going to be learning about the Oregon Bandage Man.
All right, let me get some updates, which I don't have a lot of. When's James coming on next? I want to give that update. I know he's been off a couple weeks. He be on next week?
Keep doing this to me when I don't have the schedule open.
I'm sorry. Sorry to put
As
that-
HR, I've made it also very clear I don't know what's happening until I write it down, and I do, just in a different document. James' next episode is the 15th.
Well, all
But
right.
I'm gone.
Yeah. It's
okay.
15th. I don't think we have officially chose what that topic is just yet.
Oh, yeah,
But I
I
will
think I
remind
took
you all that is tax day in the state, so do your taxes, or the IRS will be
Oops.
angry.
I
Big
still haven't
angry
done
at
mine.
you.
They don't come after you until it was like 4 years. You're gonna have fun. You got time.
We're going to tell horror stories about tax evasion.
Next time.
Or not.
Late Night Legends.
So I do have to
Yeah.
say this. So you guys all know how I'm in a paranormal encyclopedia. I have never heard of the Bandage Man, and it was very hard for me not to do research. I'm like, I
Oh.
want to be surprised tonight. I want to learn about this.
I'm the same way. Sometimes I won't look stuff up just because I want to listen to it and like hear someone tell that story.
Here at Late Night Legends, we
just-
like surprises.
We
I-
do.
I just want to find out how all of you say Oregon
Oregon.
because
I say Oregon.
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 Oregon's
Oregon.
like my liver.
Yeah.
Why do you, Kay, pick the ones where we all pronounce it differently? Is this something
Appalachia.
you want to get out of us?
Is it Appalachia? Appalachia? Oregon?
Pecan.
Oregon? Tomato,
Come on.
tomato?
This is what
Target,
happens when you
target.
have a show that is coast to coast. We all say words a little bit
Also-
silly.
In the Appalachia poll, Appalachia one. Just-
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh.
I didn't see that one coming.
We might
That
just have a
happened.
lot more southern listeners then.
And now everybody can
No,
look for that
northern
TikTok
listeners.
clip to
Appalachia's
go out.
northern,
We just made.
Appalachia.
That's great. Thanks. Good.
All right. Well, no, with no further announcements except for next week we got paranormal art coming up, and then the week after wedding superstitions, and then the week after we're taking off. And there's a week in there that we're gonna have a topic that we've not chosen yet. We don't have
Yep.
any other updates. So whenever you're ready, Kay, take us in and let me know when you want me to share my screen.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with the Bandage Man of Cannon Beach. That's over here in Oregon. And there's not a whole lot on this, so I also did a little bit of backup on another topic of Fort Stevens. Because
Oh,
I came
awesome.
across it while I was going through research on the Bandage Man, so I have a little bit more to fill time if we need to. So, along the sandy shores of Oregon, you'll find the small coastal city of Cannon Beach, but to get there, you'll most likely have to drive through Highway 101. It's a seemingly normal highway during the daytime hours, but if you believe the legends, at night there is a mummy-like ghost that patrols the highway looking for victims. During the Second World War, sawmills in Oregon saw an increase in production as construction boomed due to labor shortages. As the men and women working at the mills rushed to complete their tasks, it's no surprise the number of accidents shot up. After a bad rainstorm, a logger slipped and slid into one of the saw blades in a way that left deep
Ouch.
gashes down his body. His co-workers were quick in getting an ambulance to arrive, and seeing the severity of the cuts, the medics wrapped his entire body in bandages. The ambulance sped off, but coming upon a bend on Highway 101, the slippery road caused the ambulance to crash. And this one says a slippery road. I've also seen reports of a landslide, which is what kind of contributed to them rerouting 101 to be safer, and possibly just the landslide made it impossible to repair the road. So yeah, a short time later, police arrived, finding the medics unconscious and the man wrapped in bandages gone. A search was conducted over the course of the next 3 days, but was eventually called off. There were no reports of him wandering into a hospital, no sightings, and many that, due to his injuries, thought that this dead body would be found eventually. The only thing ever found was a small piece of a bloody bandage. Several years later, a young couple parked their pickup truck along a secluded section of Canyon Beach on Highway 101 late at night. Moments after parking, the two heard rustling sounds coming from the nearby woods, but assumed it was just the wind. A smell of rotting flesh overtook the two as the truck shook as if someone had climbed into the back. Looking through the small window, they were terrified to see a man covered in bloody bandages staring back at them. The bandaged man began yelling out and banging on the top of the truck. The driver started up the car and peeled out of the spot, swerving down the road, nearly avoiding crash. When they finally stopped and turned back, the bandaged man was gone. After driving to a well-lit area, the driver crept out of the truck and searched the back. There, he found a torn piece of the bandaged man's bloody bandages. Since that day, there have been several reports of the bandaged man appearing to others in the back or atop their cars. Some claim his appearance has caused multiple accidents and deaths. The legends say that the bandaged man is now a type of ghoul or zombie looking to feed on flesh. Often, missing pets along Cannon Beach are later found half-eaten and said to be victims of the bandaged man. Others have said he is now a type of ghost that wanders around Highway 101 and Cannon Beach, with his spirit forever tied to the place where he died. If you ever drive along Highway 101 and smell smell rotting flesh, be careful, for the bandaged man is somewhere close.
So I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
When this young couple stopped, is it to be assumed that they stopped maybe like a Lover Lane situation?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I love that this is like a very localized version, at least the first one you told, of the Hookman story.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's very similar to the Hookman.
So a lot of like just to briefly go over the Hookman urban legend, if no one's ever heard of it, a couple stops at a Lover's Lane. Is a Lover's Lane?
I know,
a term
right?
that kids, like, Gen Z
Lover's
know?
Lookout, maybe?
Is it the store Lover's Lane? We got that.
So a Lover's Lane, Lover's
Mhm.
Lookout, a makeout point is
There
a
you
place
go.
where you stop your car and you
Pretty
mac
much.
on your honey in the car, and your parents don't know.
Netflix and chill.
So they go and they're macking, mama, mama,
It's
and over the radio they hear that a killer is on the loose, and he is known for having a hook for a hand. And right before the making out goes a little bit further into sex, they hear scratching on the car, and the girl gets freaked out and says, "I want to go home." So the guy says, whatever, and takes her home, sexually frustrated at her. And when he goes to open her door, he screams because he sees that a hook has been on the handle, suggesting that the hook man was there trying to get into the car. So this story is an urban legend, a lot theorized to talk about the fragility of virginity. And that because the hook is something that penetrates and it's
I
scary
see.
and dangerous. So it's
yes, the perfect metaphor.
it is, but it's mostly done mostly like set in like the 50s and things like that with purity culture and the idea that like the girl, if the girl wasn't the one who was protecting her virginity by saying stop it because she's scared, she would have been penetrated and changed. So it's interesting that it's rotting flesh instead of a hook this time. And I wonder if it's the same reason they localized it or if there's like something else to
But
it
do
because
we
the
know for sure
bandage
they
is very
localized it?
interesting.
How
Huh?
certain are you that it is just a localized version?
It is very local.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that but
But-
what I'm saying is how are you certain that it's the same as the hook man, the bandage man? How do we know for certain it's the same thing?
So a lot of urban legends go like the whole point of an urban legend is that it is verbally repeated in an urban setting. And that the details aren't necessarily always the same, but there's key hit points. So there's lovers, they stop their car, there's a disturbance that makes them leave, but they're unsure of the danger that awaits them. And then when they go to open the car, there is a surefire sign that what had happened to them actually happened.
Are there other versions of this particular?
The Hook
Thing?
Man story?
Yeah, is there other versions of the hook man? That's because you're
There's-
saying the bandage man is just inspired by the hook man, and then
Well, because
retold-
it's an urban legend, it's retold based
That's what I'm
on
saying.
area. So like,
are there any other like I don't know, monsters that are from?
I mean,
that?
probably it depends on the area. Because the other telltale sign like of an urban legend is like you can never trace the origins of it. It's a friend of a friend of a friend said it, or some point in time where like it could be modern, but there's elements that are not
Well, in that
necessarily
case, say it
modern.
tonight. That's what I'm saying. Are you okay, John?
No, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said my friend Kay is the one that said it to me tonight.
Yeah, but like if you ask, hey, where did you
Hey,
hear that?
hey.
No one has heard it
Oh.
from. No, this actually happened to like my friend Sally. This really happened to her.
When did this supposedly happen, Kay? Do you have a date by chance or a time frame?
So the reports first started anywhere between 1940 to 1960. So it is pretty much exactly like John was saying, as far as being, very localized urban, is because, nobody knows exactly where it started. I did read an article where this guy is kind of explaining, he's done some research where he thinks it started. So he looked and he couldn't find any newspaper articles talking about this incident at a sawmill with an ambulance, with, a landslide. He couldn't find any evidence of that. But this was a very, very deadly stretch of road. So, they did a study in 2020 of the deadliest stretches of roads in Oregon. And this stretch of road in Highway 101 was the deadliest. So,
Just out of curiosity, how close does Charlie live to 101? HR, could you give me a pass? I've asked 3 people for the address in this particular show. So
I'm
far.
about
Can you give us a time frame, but add or minus 5 minutes to it? So
okay. It would be about
Okay.
2 hours away, plus or minus 5 minutes.
you weren't supposed to say if you plus or minus.
Frank, who shall remain nameless, is responsible.
and
I mean-
I'm not close to him, but I am the same distance away.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
just in an opposite direction. Okay.
Yeah.
Or in a
'Cause-
triangulated direction.
Yeah,
Who
Or
knows?
she lives in the sky. Who knows?
It's more
I-
like, because there's only one road out. I mean, there's two roads. There's two ways you could go out there, but basically you take the 26 to the 101, and that's it. Like, and it says
Kay lives
specifically,
on a ship in the sea.
well,
I was gonna say that I'm coming to you live from the sea, but yeah,
Houseboat.
there's 101 that runs along the coast, and then there's Tillamook that comes in, and
Mm.
or not Tillamook, Highway 26. Highway 26 comes in, and that little stretch where 26 hits 101 to Cannon Beach is right where that happens.
Makes
I
some
was
good
gonna
butter.
say I got Tillamook
Yeah,
cheese.
they do.
Makes some good butter. Ah, I got some Tillamook butter.
yeah, they shout out Tillamook Cheese, the largest cheese producer in the U.S. Sold 1 billion pounds of cheese last year. They sell yogurt in Australia.
Tillamook, please sponsor Late Night Legends. Tillamook, please sponsor Late Night Legends. Reach out.
I just know that because
only if you
I
say
have a friend
what
who
you
just
said
started working
on
there.
Super Balls about cheese.
No, we're not going to say that here. Listen, we don't need to know.
You're
Nobody needs
already
to know
in
what
the
I said.
doghouse. You
God.
might as well.
Listen. I'm trying to still maintain somewhat of a reputation with Charlie and Kay here. I feel like Jessie already knows a lot of my dark secrets, so she's lucky for me. She's not judgmental. But so far, I don't want to burn a bridge. I don't want them to know who I actually am yet. They don't need to.
That's
Don't,
so
don't,
funny.
Don't reference that. I'd rather not.
So, do you know
pass.
anyone that has had that happen to them or experienced that?
I personally do not. There is an article where a man says it did happen to somebody, a child of somebody he knows.
Oh.
Obviously I can't,
Mhm.
validate that, but he says, I know the family that this happened to.
What? How did you come across the Bandage Man? I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to pick as a topic.
Somebody mentioned it on one of our shows. They're like, oh, hey, have you ever heard of the Bandage Man? You're right next to this. You're in Portland. And I was like, no.
He's standing
Right.
right behind you.
Yes. So,
I don't know who
yeah.
said that. I don't remember such a moment.
There is another story that I thought was really interesting. I was doing all this research, and I like to just kind of go to Reddit and read some of the stories there. And so there's a Reddit story from about 4 to 5 years ago that I thought was really interesting, because you can't find anybody with, from our time frame that is alive that says this happened to me. But somebody posted this 4 or 5 years ago on Reddit, which I think is super interesting. So they posted, hi, this is my first time on Reddit, and I specifically made an account to post my story about the Bandage Man in Cannon Beach, Oregon. They're replying to somebody in an Oregon subreddit asking if anybody had an experience with the Bandage Man. And they said, so I moved to Cannon Beach 1.5 years ago from Dallas, Texas. I live in an apartment in town, but also close-ish to the stretch of Highway 101 that the Bandage Man supposedly haunts. So I had this dream before I knew about him, and now that I've read more about him, I know it wasn't a dream, but a likely encounter with the entity. January or February 2019, I had a very vivid nightmare. I was asleep and I woke up feeling like someone was watching me, and the distinct feeling that I wasn't alone. I live alone, but I have a boyfriend who sleeps over often, and sometimes when I'm semi-conscious, it feels like he's there out of habit. I thought this was one of these times where I was confused and I would wake up and remember he's not here and go back to bed. This time, however, I opened my eyes to a man standing next to my bed and I froze. It felt so real. I looked at him and he was covered in toilet paper. It looked like toilet paper to me. It wasn't dirty, gory, bloody bandages, but like white cotton toilet paper. I was annoyed because why would someone waste that much toilet paper wrapping themselves up in it? It was hanging loosely from his face, going all the way down. The moonlight from my window was illuminating him from the knees up. I was scared and kept thinking, this isn't real, I'm dreaming. Then he gestured like he was lunging at me, not with his hands, but his upper body. I do remember screaming, actually, a stifled, paralyzed scream that I could barely make, and when he lunged at me, I automatically squeezed my eyes shut. When I opened them again, he was gone. It scared me so bad, I stayed awake for a while, thinking that must have been a really bad night terror. I've never had a night terror before that. This past weekend, my boyfriend and I attended a ghost conference in the town over. Honestly, we attended to make fun of it, not because we actually believed in ghosts. I was talking to a guy who wrote a book on Pacific Northwest ghosts and haunted sites, and I bought it just for fun. Later, my boyfriend and I slipped to ghosts in Cannon Beach, and there's only one, and he's called the Bandage Man. I forgot about my dream before that, and as we read more about the Bandage Man, I remembered my dream. I was freaking out the rest of the night, coming to the realization that I might have truly seen a ghost. I was glad I told my boyfriend about it the night that it happened, months ago, so he wouldn't think I was making it up in the moment. It was too coincidental. The scariest, most real night terror in my life matched the description of the only ghost in Cannon Beach.
That is pretty freaky. That is Freaky Friday right there. I don't even know. Like that those weird like things that happen when you're sleeping are something that personally terrifies me. You know, I don't know. Just freaks me out. But I can only imagine that person like having that one instance, that one experience, and they're like, "Oh, turns out this is a famous celebrity ghost."
Famous celebrity ghost.
Because autograph
I-
next time.
We can start that TV show this week on Celebrity Ghost. Sorry.
It's gonna
That
get
one-
confused with celebrity ghost stories.
That one kind of reminded me a little bit of the Hat Man. You know, like
Yeah.
people will see this scary thing and then they have no idea about it. And then somebody mentions the Hat Man and they're like, I've seen him.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, with the Hat Man, I know that the people that try to debunk that it's real will cite the fact that around the time that the sightings happened, it coincided with the release of one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So a lot of people are like, well, you're just seeing the Hat Man because you're thinking of Freddy Krueger. Whether you've seen the movie or not, you may have just seen the commercials, and that haunting image may have just stuck with you in your subconscious. So like, there's that. I don't know what to believe, but the Hat Man is interesting. I know that it lives on right now in sort of a way where there's some people that still currently say that like they see it and stuff. The Hat Man, that is, and you know, I don't know. I heard a really good joke about sleep paralysis demons, where it was like I was watching this YouTube show, and you guys know the Burger King mascot, like the king, where he's got that creepy face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful.
This particular show that I was watching was like, oh, the Burger King couldn't be here today because his face is busy being everyone's sleep paralysis demon. And I laughed my ass off because that joke is like perfectly tailored to me. All right, sorry.
Total
Stop rambling.
tangent, but everybody should look up the video of the Newburgh, Oregon Burger King hamburger sliding across the parking lot. It's like a 10-foot hamburger.
Hold the show.
What?
Hold the show. There's a ghost burger.
No, it's not a ghost burger.
Oh, okay. It just flew. It just.
Burger King had a 10-foot inflatable hamburger that was strapped
okay.
down.
Inflatable.
You
yeah,
need
okay.
to add the inflatable part.
Joan is currently intoxicated. She's drinking the
I
Four
am
Loko.
not intoxicated. It's not. It's called Solid Grounds.
She
It's
poured
a
Four Loko into that can. Don't let her.
Oh my god, that's a massive burger.
I'm gonna look this burger up. I'm gonna look it up.
This is a
Charlie,
horrible
share your
video.
screen. Hold on. Can you try to share your screen?
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
want to, if you're comfortable.
yeah. We'll go. Oh,
Thank you.
Oh my
You have to
god.
get consent from the people who
share
work for us.
screen.
Thank you, Jonah,
Whoa.
designated
Hard
HR
to
representative.
catch up.
Whoa.
Well, now we know how to get the audio.
That music is
Oh
great.
my god.
I'm sure that's copyright free. That sounds copyright free.
Yeah, this is from our local news affiliate. No statement from Burger King's head office.
He's
All
like,
right.
that's enough of
Oh,
that.
that's amazing. Promote that man.
Oh god, that's funny.
Paranormal with a little pinch of silliness. That's what I'm about. That's me.
One thing I did want to mention about Kay's story, though, he said that was the only ghost in Cannon Beach. But on the Cannon Beach History Center, they have multiple ghosts listed. So
What other ghosts do you guys got up there?
I've got the Lady of Cannon Beach.
Oh,
I heard about that one too. Yeah.
Ooh.
And then so there's the Tillamook Rock Lighthouse, which is very cool. And so there's some certain things like the ghost ships and stuff like that.
What
with
is it?
them.
Wait, what is the lighthouse called again?
It's Tillamook Rock.
Okay. My husband would
Oh,
have said,
boy.
you could tell my rock.
HR.
I would have
Oh, got him.
rolled my eyes.
HR.
I said my husband. He doesn't work for us.
HR's. How do you call HR and HR? How do you do that?
You call head of HR, but that's
You just
also
you
me.
just go
And that's
directly
why
to
it's
the
a
CEO.
corrupt system.
You go directly to the CFO.
Oh my God.
You call James.
I'm in a loving marriage. We can make jokes like that with each other.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, the something cool I found though is there is a Bandage Man record
Huh.
store in Cannon
That's cool.
Beach.
Ooh.
Oh
Yeah.
Does he
my God.
own it? Does he run it?
The Bandage
Oh,
Man.
boy.
He wasn't making enough money like scaring people,
Right.
so he had to open a record store.
He just decided to make an honest living. He's like, you know what? Being a vagabond is not for me. I am going to now open a record store. With all the hits from the 1940s that we loved.
It looked like there was also a movie that was produced in the early 2000s called The Bandage Man. And it's like a horror with a twist at the end. I won't say what the end is. I read what the end was,
Is it
but
related to the Bandage Man that we heard tonight, or is it like a totally
Yes.
new interpretation? Oh, it is.
no, it's about him. It's about a guy who's driving. He goes to the roads and is driving around trying to find the Bandage Man to have an interaction with him.
Oh,
Gotcha.
interesting.
And there are people, I looked at Google Maps and you have 26 that comes into 101. And there are a ton of little side roads that you can take around there. So I'm not sure exactly which one is technically Bandage Man Road, but there are people who go over there and drive all those little roads trying to have him jump on the car.
That's crazy.
No, don't do that. People, don't do that.
I love that energy though. Like, you know what? Fuck it, guys. Let's go to the IHOP and then we're gonna go drive around to these little rinky-dink roads
Rinky-dink.
because YOLO.
That sounds like dangerous driving. We do not support that as a group.
Could you imagine, like, if you get into an accident or something happens to your car and you gotta like explain to your insurance agent why the fuck you were out there? Like, yeah, there's this Bandage Man.
I wanted to see Bandage
Just wanted
Man.
to go down these little roads and catch a glimpse of the Bandage Man.
Yeah.
It
Smell
is
some-
interesting that you mentioned about the Hat Man and the movies that had just come out. So something interesting is right around the time when the story started was when the original
Oh, that's
Mummy movie
interesting.
came out.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
And
some
that
people
ties
think
back
it
to
was.
Egyptian curses.
Yep.
It goes all the way to the top.
The top of the
It sounds
pyramid?
like it's Maddie.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, people think that it's kind of a mix of warning people to drive slow, trying to make sure teenagers aren't out there doing things they shouldn't be doing in the dark, and they made it scary because the Mummy had just come out, so he's the Bandage Man.
Oh.
And it's totally fair. I mean, all of 101 is basically a cliff face right next to the ocean. So yeah, do be careful. I get freaked out driving on there.
I actually have thasmophobia or whatever it's called, which is a fear of water. For me, it's only those large bodies of water at night. So like the ocean at night terrifies me.
Oh yeah.
It's like one of my fears.
I thought
don't
you
know
said
why.
phasmophobia, and I'm like, that's a game.
No, not phasmophobia. What is it? It's TH. It's like
It's
thalassa.
thalassophobia.
Yeah.
They're large bodies of water.
Charlie knows what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlie knows what's up.
He does know what's
Yeah,
up. God damn it!
the ocean's
Yeah, no,
big.
he knows. No, I know he knows.
No, I know that you know that he knows that you know that I know.
No, Charlie and I are having a moment where we've bonded
I
over
saw
something,
that.
and you're not
Oh,
involved,
Holly
so it's
Mary
fine.
Lynn. I saw that. I saw that in the Discord.
Oh no, that was a different thing. I will tell everybody that. That's fine. So Charlie and I are 3 hours apart, and on Friday night, he contacted me at his 9
3
o'clock
hour drive,
time.
huh? How do you know that
I
drive
was-
length?
I was
Time
no
wise.
3 hours time zone.
3 hour time zone.
3,000
Oh my
miles if you want to do it that way.
If he could drive in 3 hours, I'm very concerned.
3,000 plus or minus 5 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
only
plus or minus
plus or
five.
minus
Thank you.
5
Sorry.
exact miles.
So anyway, it was 12 o'clock at night, and we had gone every Friday night. We go out and have drinks with coworkers and call it Freaky Friday. And I got freaky on Friday, and I was drunk. And he sent me a menu thing, and he wanted me to see a specific item on the menu. And I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm drunk. What are we doing?"
She's like,
It's okay.
Charlie, I'm 7 locos deep right now.
No.
They don't even make Four Locos anymore, do they?
Four local, please sponsor Late Night Legends
Stop
podcast.
making me out
No.
to be an alcoholic. I would die. I'm old. I had like 3 beers, and I was like, I have a slight headache.
I can't be
now.
drinking Four Loco or 40s. I have little hands.
I do
Hold
have
on.
little. No, okay. Frank also messaged me. He goes, Joan's drinking a tall boy. And I'm like, I just have tiny hands. This is
I
a
put that-
normal beer.
It looks like a giant. It's a
It's
Four Loko.
it's bigger than like a
It's
Miller
Four
Lite
Loko.
can.
It's a White Claw. We know what it is. You don't have to tell
It's
us.
not. I love a White Claw.
I will point out that
Checkmate.
9 o'clock my time, I was at work. I was like, I
You're
still have to
like
work.
totally
at that.
sober at work wearing a bow
Yeah.
tie, and this lady's like, I'm so sloppy
Bow tie.
drunk right now. Send me that
We're-
link later.
Wearing a greasy apron. Come on.
Greasy apron.
Get, yeah, I work at a Philly cheesesteak place. Like it's not fancy.
But you still wear a bow tie, and everyone appreciates that
Fuck
about
yeah.
you, Charlie.
No, they think I'm
Charlie-
weird. Like, Charlie, you're wearing a T-shirt that says "I heart Philly steaks" and a greasy apron. Why do you have a bow tie on? It's weird.
And you go, dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to be corporate Philly cheesesteak man.
That's pretty
I
good
think you
superhero.
should go in dressed as the Bandage Man next time. Because once again, dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Hold on. Who's the newer host here? We do team costumes. I don't remember what our team costume was going to be, but we've already decided. I just don't remember what we decided on. Joan, do you remember what we
We
decided
did
on for
not
team
do
costume?
anything
totally
like
did.
that.
We fucking did decide.
Half the people weren't here during Halloween. That's
Listen.
unfair.
Listen,
I'm listening.
Oh,
Bye.
God.
listen. I don't know if you guys read your release that I sent y'all, but if you read the fine print, you must participate in Halloween.
Well, it's the only holiday I really give a shit about
I don't think I
anyway,
actually sent the
so.
release to Charlie.
I mean,
Wait,
it's
so
fine
what are
that
we
we
being this year?
participate. Yeah, what
Can-
are we
can-
doing?
Can we do a team? Oh, you know what it was? It was you're right, Joan. It was prior to you. We're gonna be cryptids, but we should do something. We should do team costume day.
Do we want to do local legends? Is that what you're trying to get out of us?
Can we do local, like our local monsters? Like Charlie could be Bandage
Hey,
Man.
that's Kim. It's
Or
Kim's
Kim.
I had
topic
to be
tonight.
Bandage
She
Man.
would be Bandage Man. Rude.
Hey, listen.
It's okay. I'll
Charlie,
be the giant cheeseburger.
listen. You either. Okay, you be the giant cheeseburger. Charlie's gonna be the white Tillamook lady. What was that other one?
Oh, the lady of
Oh,
Cannon
God.
Beach. Yeah.
the lady of Cannon Beach. You be that.
Wait.
Jesse, what do we
Sophie.
got out here? What am I dressing up as for Halloween?
There
What
is
do we
a
got?
white lady in Chicago.
Resurrection
Do you want to be the
Mary.
white
Is there
lady of
one?
Chicago? Yes,
Yeah,
there's
there
a
is.
white
I saw-
lady everywhere.
I was out earlier. I saw a few, Joan.
I mean, like a ghosty one, but
Oh,
sure.
okay.
That's gonna be
Ghost-
Frank's
gotcha.
costume. He's Resurrection Mary.
Yes,
Okay,
there we go. Resurrection
fine.
Mary.
All right.
That's the
Let's do
white
this
lady.
shit. All right, I don't care. We could all be. Listen, I feel like the lady in white is a.
Well, yeah, just
ghost
like the Hat
literally
Man.
in every town. We could all
Yes.
be the
Or
lady in
Urban
white.
Legends, yeah.
Yeah, we could all be the lady. I'll tell you what. We're gonna have fun with this. Put a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're a live listener right now, feel free to comment on the video in the chat wherever you're at. If you watch this in post, put a comment down below. Let us know the team costume that you'd like us to see in. the top 4 that we like, if we get 4,
I don't know what
we'll
happened.
put in a poll for people to vote on, and then they won't vote, and then we'll figure it out.
As the HR representative, it must be work appropriate.
No, fuck that.
I don't want to open us up to some things.
Oh, listen. Okay, fine. That's cool. I'm gonna tell the CEO about this. I'm gonna go over your head, which is me. So hi.
It's you. I tell everyone that too, and they're like, "Hey, Joan, Frank's doing some violations,"
They're like,
and I'm just
"Frank,
like, "He
you
is
work
the
for that
CEO. I
fucking
can't
ape?"
do a lot."
I can't believe you podcast with that goddamn ape. What are you doing?
I think
Anyway.
everybody got off on a tangent.
What
Yeah.
What do we got? Like 20 minutes left? Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
They're fun tangents, though. I like
They
tonight.
are.
Tonight's funny and spooky. That's what I like. That's what I
No,
like.
it is.
That's all- You know what I kind of wanted to cover that somebody mentioned to me? Have you guys seen some of the... So, like, I was talking about my, the topic that we're doing, the paranormal art. And so somebody was like, does it count if it's, like children's, like, stuff? I'm like, what do you mean? So... I guess he had watched, one of my coworkers had watched, like, the old McDonald's commercials. Where
Oh,
it's like
God.
Old McDonald Land. And they
Yeah.
try to make it look like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but it's super creepy. Like Grimace is
Hamburglar or
all
whatever.
those weird. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if he's super terrifying, but some of them are like.
Theft is
what are
always
we thinking
scary.
here? Huh?
Theft is always scary.
I'm just saying it's like, so he was like, oh, a lot of the videos and a lot of the scenery from like the old McDonald land is super creepy. They even had like, I can tell you like here, well, where I used to live in Villa Park, the McDonald's that's on St. Charles and Villa for Jesse reference. St. Charles and Villa, there's a McDonald's there. They used to have a play place that was enormous. In that play place, they had Mayor McCheese. So it's like a big dude that's dressed like a mayor, and then they also had a police cheeseburger.
Yeah,
like,
and
you
it
could
had like
call
the
up in that
bars.
police cheeseburger, and his head was like
Yeah.
this big. The bars. Why
I know,
are those
right?
prison bars there for kids? Thank you, Jesse. I felt if nobody knew what I was talking
I
about,
had
like,
birthday
what the
parties
fuck
at
is Frank
McDonald's,
talking
so
about?
I know
No,
exactly
the
what
bars
you're
for
talking
kids.
about.
Yeah, why do they let kids in there like that? And then that
Because they
particular
sold the
McDonald's,
cheeseburgers.
I remember, Charlie, it's like
Yeah.
they had ashtrays at that McDonald's, that even though that was outlawed, they still had ashtrays at every table. Like, you want to smoke in the McDonald's, you tell your kid to go play in the ball pit. Let's
Man.
I remember that. Remember,
my mom is
yeah,
one smoker.
we had a play place at my McDonald's.
Really?
It was much smaller though. But then they got rid of it and just replaced it with N64s.
Dude, what?
Yeah,
I want to move where you're. What? I want to move there.
Right?
They took out
N64s
the-
at McDonald's.
yeah. They took out the
What the
play
fuck?
place and they put in N64s. You could just play N64 games.
Wow.
It's great.
I don't know if I believe that. I'm gonna.
You don't what? It was probably for like 3 years, and then obviously like N64 is pretty much obsolete.
Can you confirm N64? I know they're a bit before your time. Can you confirm the more modern version of it?
I don't know.
N64?
My McDonald's PlayStation
Oh,
play
shit.
area just burnt down, so
What?
What is going on in Oregon? In Oregon's.
Was it burnt down by the Bandage Man?
Oh my god.
It's all connected, guys.
He just
I just
ripped off one
remember
of
it-
his Band-Aids and like
Hookman versus Bandage Man. Who's gonna win?
ooh,
Who's
the
gonna
Hook
win?
Man.
The Hookman
One
will
is
win?
literally
Oh my
injured
God,
and the
that's
other has
funny.
weapons.
Joan, listen. First of all, they're immortal beings. Okay.
Okay.
They're immortal.
The one smells like rotting flesh. She's not doing too
Why
hot there,
were
bud.
you talking about McDonald's, Frank? I'm very confused. What brought that on? Wow. That's
Okay.
funny.
Wow. Who's sharing the screen? I'm giving a raise to whoever's sharing their screen.
It's me.
I'm going to give you a 50% raise. 50% 0 is 0. You're welcome.
Yes.
That is awesome, man. Holy crap.
Right?
Dude, I would never leave that McDonald's. They had Mario Kart on there or like Smash
Oh,
Bros.
yeah, yeah. I gotta tell
Forget
Steve
about it.
about this. He's gonna love that.
Yeah. That was great. Anyway.
See, Chicago's
So-
such a crime-riddled city with a bunch of degenerates.
Yeah,
They would
no
never dream
shit.
about installing anything like that out here. HR.
Everywhere. Don't do that. Okay, do you have anything else about the Bandage
Yeah,
Man
you guys
that
are
you
weird.
want to
Back the
add?
show.
I don't have anything about the Bandage Man, but we could talk a little bit
Oh,
about
yeah.
Fort Stevens if you wanted to.
Yes.
Yes,
Sure,
please.
what's there?
This-
What am
for
I
funsies.
putting in my travel guide?
I like that you're putting it in without knowing about it. You're like, where am I going? Guantanamo
We're going
Bay.
here.
That sounds delightful.
So, Frank, you're gonna love this with your thalassophobia or whatever
Oh,
the crap
no,
that
thank
is.
you. No, I
Um,
no.
So up in the corner of Oregon, right where the Columbia comes in, is called the Graveyard of the Pacific. So this is pretty widely considered one of the most dangerous areas of ocean in the world. Thousands of ships got sunk here. So one of the really famous wrecks is the Peter Iredale. It wrecked, I believe, in 1806. You can still go see it. It's washed up on the beach. But right there is Fort Stevens. So I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever seen pictures or heard anything about
It
Fort
sounds
Stevens.
familiar. I know I've
So it was
heard
built
about the
in,
the ship graveyard though. I've read about that.
Can
yeah,
I ask why the ships are sinking there? Is it like a natural something happening, or is it supernatural happening, or are they?
it's not supernatural. It's just right at the mouth of the Columbia is where it's just really choppy water. It's extremely dangerous to try and get from the ocean up into the Columbia. And
So it's just treacherous, and Captain Chad's like, "Oh, it's a little chop," and then they just wreck it. Okay.
yep,
Gotcha.
yeah. And so a lot of these ships are back from the time when they didn't have engines, it was just sails. So if
Yeah,
the
if the
wind
wind
wasn't on
wanted
your
you to
side,
die,
you were
you'd
screwed.
die.
So you're gonna die.
There's something
So
poetic
yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So Fort Stevens was built in the late 1800s. It's pretty old. And it only ever saw action one time during World War II when a Japanese submarine came and fired upon it. Um, I saw mixed reports of how many people died there. I've only seen one confirmed, but I've seen up to 8 people, I want to say. But you really can't find a lot of information on it. So the one person that had a reported death was on May 11th, 1868. A soldier was found 2 miles away in a river. The first cause of death was listed as drowning, along with intoxication. However, another cause of death listed was beaten to death by person or persons unknown. So he was in pretty rough shape. They couldn't figure out who did it, which is kind of weird because you think a military base, they'd do some investigating and figure it out, but they didn't. He was the first burial in the new cemetery that they completed. They completed their cemetery a month before he died. So, Frank, I sent you a picture of his headstone. I'm not sure
Okay,
if
I'm going
anybody
to- Oh, headstone. Okay, hold on.
cares to see it, but
Let me bring it first. And
if you want to
then-
see that headstone, you can find it on
Oh, cool.
findagrave.com.
Oh, nice. Convenient.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm
Sponsored by findagrave.com.
I would love to be sponsored by findagrave.com.
That's I mean that's
Findagrave.com, please sponsor us. Thank you.
Please.
Y'all
Oh,
see
cool.
this? Y'all see
Aw.
it?
yes.
Yeah.
Little
Just a
guy.
little.
It's a picture for ants.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
there it is.
So there's reports of people just having really eerie feelings walking around there. There's the external portion of it, and then it has multiple batteries with underground areas that you can explore. Most of the time I think people get an eerie feeling down in those batteries. I've been there multiple times, so I also sent Frank photos of me there.
Let me go
if
back
you
to
guys
the old
wanna
share screen.
See little baby Kimberly,
Aw.
baby Kate.
Yep.
Ah,
Oh,
hold on.
wow. Oh.
There we go.
There's me.
Aw.
This is baby K over here.
No.
No.
I like how you're still wearing a white shirt.
She never changed.
Consistency is king.
Okay, can you tell us honestly? Are you still wearing these shoes over here? Like right now?
Right now,
Like in this
I'm wearing
moment, are you-
Crocs.
Crocs.
That's funny.
But yeah,
Do you want me to show you the rest of the pictures, or just keep it here?
sure, go for it. Show us the
Oh,
rest.
cool.
Here's another one.
Okay, so this is from one of the batteries, and I went down in there the last time I was there. I was probably maybe like 12, and so that's them exiting. And I don't think it was supposed to be open when we went there. There's, another picture where the door is shut. It's got these
cool.
iron like slat gates, and then it's got iron doors. And it's
Wow.
typically, yeah. So those are typically closed and locked. And for some reason, when we went there, they were open. And so my mom and my brother stayed outside, and my dad and I were like, let's go in there. But as you can see from the other photo, it's like pitch black when you go in there. And all my dad had was the flash on his camera. So we started walking through there. And my dad would just take pictures of stuff. So we'd like flash, see a little bit, and walk a little farther. And
That
Right.
is what horror movies are made of. I will say
Yeah.
that.
imagine that, what you're seeing right now, and you just see the flash of a camera, and that's all you get to see until the next flash.
Pitch black.
Pitch black. It was absolutely terrifying, and I could not imagine, just having to, I mean, it would have been lit back then, but it was really creepy.
Somebody.
But people just report feeling, really uneasy there. People report seeing a soldier in like World War II garb.
Sorry about that.
Whoa.
Sorry about that.
Do you mind if I share my screen again? I actually have some related photos.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Charlie was there the same day?
I already know my
No,
final
so so I think there are. I'm right in saying there's 18 of these forts that are built up and down the coast of Washington and Oregon. So this is actually from Fort
Oh,
Casey,
wow.
which is up on Whidbey Island, and it's
Beautiful.
it's the same kind of thing. But hold on, I need to be able to share different photos here. But yeah, I've been to Fort Stevens as well. I went camping at Cape Disappointment there, which is what it's
Cape
called because
Disappointment.
it's called Cape
Cape
Disappointment because it's hard for the ships to get around. So yeah, the same kind of creepy tunnels.
Cool.
There's a door.
Oh, no, I don't like that door.
There's a door.
Sinister. Don't like it.
Yeah, but I mean, oh yeah, very sinister. I remember coming here as a kid, just running around.
I mean,
My senior skip day, senior year of high school, we actually came here and played Capture the Flag. So
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
that sounds like so much fun.
and of course you could just hide it in the
Right.
dark. No one's ever gonna find it.
I would watch Property Brothers
But
go
anyway.
to this place and then like try to flip it.
No.
You guys ever watch Property Bros?
Of
Property
course.
Brothers?
Yeah, they don't typically go to forts
Not yet.
and go, let's make this a residential.
Not yet. Not yet.
There is a housing crisis, so you know what? Maybe we should do that.
We probably should. There
let's-
are
let's-
some cabins I think you can stay at, the officers' barracks kind of thing. That you can stay at Fort
Oh.
Casey at
place,
least.
we got this place with a bunch of cabins here in Illinois called Camp Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake, Illinois is amazing. We should all go visit there.
Okay,
Camp
that
Crystal
took
Lake?
place in New Jersey, so I really dislike
What?
you.
I just like Crystal Lake, Illinois. What's the problem?
Now, I remember when I
Settle
found
down.
out about
Calm
that, I
down.
was like, wait a minute.
We have
what?
Camp Crystal
Is it the
Lake.
same? And Steve was like, no.
I like how Joan is like taking offense to the fact that I
Yeah.
just mentioned
Yeah,
something
I'm
that you're like,
taking
"That belongs
offense to it."
me." That fictional place.
Because it took place in New Jersey. You can go to the filming spot.
It's a
That is
fictional
so
movie.
rude.
Nothing took place there.
Everything took place there. What?
Okay.
That's a
Real,
true
it
story.
actually
Okay.
happened.
It's a documentary.
Oh, it's a documentary.
Oh god, that's funny.
Well, somebody call Gwen Stefani because that shit is bananas.
Yeah, there's also a house related to Fort Stevens I believe it was owned by the commander at some point, and his house, it's called the commander's house,
Cool.
is very haunted, and it's said to have like an old housekeeper lady spirit, and she's pretty evil, it sounds like, and she'll push you downstairs and yell at you.
What does she yell at you? Did she not get paid well? Maybe that's the issue. Can we pay
Probably
her?
not. He probably like didn't take his boots off when he came inside, tracked mud all
She's probably like, pay me my wages, and then pushes you, and you're like, okay.
Joan is
Here
like,
you go.
Mrs. Doubtfire is an angry member of the kitchen staff. Did you not tip them? You remember Mrs. Doubtfire? No? Okay.
Yes, I mean, I haven't watched it in years, so I cannot quote it. Except for
Hello.
Hello.
So
Hey, Jesse's laughing hard.
I just watched it like 2
in
weeks ago.
high school choir, they try to teach you to round out your vowels when singing, and one way that they teach us or the one way they taught us to do that was sing like you are
Oh my
speaking like
God.
Mrs.
That's
Doubtfire.
awesome.
Oh God.
So like I remember one of them, like the one example is like, and the glory of the Lord doesn't sound very nice, but and the
Wow.
glory of the Lord.
Oh,
So you sing
okay.
it like that.
I was actually.
It's good.
I was thinking about you earlier, Joan, because we were watching this
Thanks.
HR.
Kitchen Nightmares episode, and they were from Jersey, and there was like a strong Jersey accent. I'm like, Joan doesn't have an accent like this, but this is what somebody with a strong Jersey accent sounds like. It's like this lady used to be a police officer, and then she opened a restaurant, and man, she was hardcore Jersey accent.
She's probably North. Okay, so North and South Jersey have two different accents. So that's the other thing too.
Oh,
North Jersey's more of a New York, and then South Jersey's a Philadelphia accent. It's all how you say water.
I heard your major export is eggplant.
Water.
No,
I heard it is.
no, cranberries.
I was gonna say that's
Really?
cranberries, and then I think we're the third greatest export of blueberries and Jersey corn and tomatoes. We are called the Garden State for a reason. We do have a lot of produce exports.
I know Massachusetts is huge with cranberries too. Plymouth was like one of the first, like, I guess I don't really want to call it an orchard, but where the cranberries were coming from, I guess, ocean spray and stuff. Which also, speaking of Jersey, have you guys done the Jersey Devil yet? Okay.
They have
we
done that
have.
episode.
We have covered it. Yeah.
But have you done the
Also-
X-Files episode yet?
We've not done X Files. I was gonna say that
X-Files Jersey Devil episode.
we in Illinois, Jesse and I would like to checkmate you because Jesse and I live in a state where we export more pumpkins than anywhere else.
I did not know that.
Okay, you can do that.
Wow.
No one's
Get it?
stopping
Because
you.
we're late night legends. 'Cause we're spooky. Get it? 'Cause
Oh,
of pumpkins.
oh.
See, like you have it on your wall, but it probably came from Illinois. Just saying.
Yeah, this one specifically, it told
That
me.
specific paper pumpkin we grew here in the fields.
It is wood.
We grew it in the
The
patch.
Gobers.
We grew that tree.
Well, if it's
At
wood, it was
Gobert's
probably grown
Farm.
in Oregon then. I mean,
We
see?
grew that- No, we grew that at Gobert's Farm in Barrington, Illinois. My favorite pumpkin patch. Gobert's sponsor, Late Night Legends Podcast. Late Night Legends Podcast at gmail.com. Are we?
Oh my gosh.
Who else has something? Anybody else want to talk about something spooky? Anybody else want to
Oh
try
my
to rile
God.
up Joan?
I think you've done that
in
enough, right?
2022,
Royal Oak, you
Indiana
got
produced
Joan.
the most pumpkins.
Indiana took us
It's
over for
called
pumpkins?
Solid Grounds. It's a coffee milk stout. I already showed the label. It's the best flavor of Four Loko. Even though actually it's from the brewing company 3 Threes, so I think you adding a 4 is actually very insulting.
Joan, didn't you hear about that congressman's son who died because he was mixing coffee with Four Loko? You shouldn't do that. That's dangerous. God, she's gonna kill me.
I think we had somebody over here die because they chugged four
Jesus.
logos.
We had somebody in Illinois, I think, die because they were.
Oh,
Panera
yeah,
was
the
selling, like,
teas,
caffeine,
yeah.
The
juice.
supercharged lemonade
Oh,
that kills you.
There were several
Lemonade,
people that died
a
from that.
deadly lemonade over at the Panera, which they haven't had anything good over at Panera for like at least 15 years.
Panera's been around that long? Jesus.
Broccoli
man.
cheddar.
Broccoli. Nah, man. Listen, I have not forgiven. Listen, I used to like Panera when they had the original French onion soup, and they got rid of it because it had like 3,000% sodium
Jesus.
for your brain. I've not forgiven them for that. They brought back a lesser version, a peasant version of French onion soup, and I will not capitulate. I will not go and be one of their patrons after that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, give me back my MSG. I need
Give it
that.
back to me now.
So when we were in college and very poor, we used to just order the bread bowls from
Just an
Panera.
empty bread bowl?
Yeah, just an empty bread bowl,
Oh,
and then we
no.
would make Bear Creek mix broccoli cheddar, make a huge vat of it, so we could keep refilling the bread bowls as
What's
much as
Bear
we
Creek?
wanted.
What is that?
Bear Creek is like a powdered version of soup, and then you just add milk to it.
I never heard of that. I don't know if we have that. Jesse,
It might
do we
be
have
just
it?
it might be what we have in our stores on the East
Well,
Coast.
Charlie knows
but-
it, so it's on the other side. of
Well,
the
I
country.
mean, it's a powder. I know it's a powdered soup. I don't know.
think we do
I didn't
have
know the
powdered
brand by
there's
name.
powdered soups. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
you go look in your grocery aisle. I'm sure you have powdered soups.
I go to Costco. They ain't got no powdered soup aisle at Costco.
No, not at Costco. No, they'll just sell you the soup at
No
Costco.
shit. Why would I buy powder?
Yeah, so if you
So
want,
you can
if you're
save it longer because
a,
you're
or
a
if you're
poor
a
college
prepper, you
student.
can save it longer.
When I was poor and I was in
Yeah.
college. No, I think it's just whatever you eat. When I was poor, I just ate different things. When I was poor and I was in college, I had ramen and I had cereal. And then every 2 weeks when I would get my payday, I'd go to Chipotle or Portillo's. That's it. That was my sad life. And then because I worked at Target in Wooddale, oh man, anytime somebody had a birthday and brought in a birthday cake, I'd be like, oh yes, happy fucking birthday. And I would just take the biggest slice on my break and I'd eat it. I'm like, thank you, Zeus, for this heavenly bounty of cake. And I would just eat it and then fall asleep for 20 minutes because silly sugar I would have in 2 weeks.
Okay, what was your poor college recipes?
Yes, please.
Please let us. Please
Please.
tell us.
Oh, gosh. Well, I didn't really go to college. I was too poor for
Just
college.
a period of time in your life, which might be right now. I don't know.
Oh, man. I don't know. We ate a lot of top ramen.
Did you ever dress it up and like you got some salami in the fridge? You're like, this could go in there. Let's try it out.
No. And the other snack that we do would be like slices of bologna and like the Kraft American cheese and
Hell
roll it
yeah.
up.
That's
That was what we
awesome.
got.
Charlie, what you got? Do you still? Let me ask you this, Charlie. What's a food from your past that you ate when you were more poor, and like you still kind of go back to every now and then because you're feeling a little dirty sometimes? You're like, man, I want to feel nostalgia. Let me get some of that.
I was talking about this because I've always worked in restaurants, so like my poor food is what I can take home, which is
Pretty much.
so that's a good perk. But yeah, I mean the Wendy's 4 for $4,
Ooh.
or so sometimes I'll just get like a 6-piece nugget and some Baconator fries.
Baconator fries? Those are a thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fries with cheese sauce and bacon.
I feel like the Baconator is different from when it came out. They changed a lot. There was a golden era of fast food where nobody gave a fuck for just a minute in time. It's like Baconator at Wendy's. They had the Double Down at KFC. And they took salads off the menu at McDonald's.
I don't know. Burger King tried like 3 times to make that completely black burger
yeah.
like a thing, and people kept
yeah.
going, "Please stop doing this. We don't want to
And what
eat
about the
it."
That
and what about the
chicken
deep
sandwich is
fried
good, though.
Cheeto?
Oh yeah, everything was covered in Cheetos for a
The
while.
giant Cheeto does.
They had
Um,
Cheeto dust cheeseburgers.
Well, it was mac and cheese that was deep fried in the shape of a Cheeto and then covered in Cheeto dust. It's the mac and Cheeto.
Man, that's horror. This is really.
It
Everything
was-
flaming hot Cheetos for like maybe it might have been last year, but everything like there's a season, all of a sudden everything becomes flaming hot Cheetos, and I'm very
They
upset.
do that here. They'll make you a burrito down the street from my apartment right now and put flaming hot Cheetos in there and
Right,
French fries.
they'll make it for me, even
Yeah.
me.
I'll send it to you 3 hours away, 2 hours away.
Give or
Express
take
deliver this
5
burrito.
minutes.
2 hours away, plus or minus 5 minutes.
My my paranormal ability is that apparently everyone lives 2 to 3 hours away from me, give or take 5 minutes.
So I don't know if you knew this or if like any of you guys knew this about our show, but when we would interview people for the show, we had a disagreement once about how far people are from O'Hare Airport, which is ORD, which is the airport here in Chicago. So for a while, a legitimate interview question that we had was, how far away from you, or how far away are you from O'Hare
That's
Airport?
funny.
That was an interview question.
I think instead of meeting up at O'Hare, or I think we talked about Denver at one point,
We're doing it.
you guys should just all fly to PDX and we can go to the Tillamook Cheese Factory.
Oh my God! Can we
There's
do
actually a
that?
Tillamook cheese in the airport. We can just take you right there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I want to swim in like a Scrooge McDuck. You know how he swims in the coins? I just want to swim in the Tillamook cheese.
You
Or
guys
butter.
should come and go to the cheese factory. They give you free cheese.
Oh, hell,
Oh yeah, the tour is worth it for sure.
okay,
So
let me
good.
tell you how much I like cheese and what I would give up for cheese. You have no idea what I would give up for cheese. Joan knows.
Go on, Frank. What would you
I'm
give
not
up
gonna-
for
I'm
cheese?
not gonna say. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna give up for cheese, but let me tell you, melted cheese is my favorite food. I have raclette in the fridge right now.
So
I
Frank won't say
should-
it,
No,
but
no.
there was a party question that I
Don't
asked that
do
I've
it. Don't
asked
do it.
before. It's a would you rather, and it's would you rather give up oral sex or cheese?
Oh,
And I think it's an easy answer because the answer's cheese for
I
me
went-
at the very
I went
least.
the way that Molly thought that I would.
I won't say what Frank's answer was, but my answer was cheese. And my logic was I've had good oral sex and I've had bad oral sex, but I've never had bad cheese.
So why give it up? Why give up the cheese?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So many
that-
opportunities.
Well, Kimberly, your episode definitely took a turn. That's for sure today.
I'm so
Jesse's
sorry.
like, all right, I'm out of here, you clowns.
So
Jess-
sorry.
Jesse's like, I came to talk about some spooky shit. Y'all clowns are talking about Tillamook. And I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Fun fact that Bandage Man is preventing you from having oral sex. That's his job. So I brought it back around.
All right, let's do some final thoughts. Who wants to go first? I'll go last, as always.
I can go first. My final thought is I'm very excited to see the votes on what we should be for Halloween.
Yes.
And I am down to be a hamburger, and you guys can do your show, and I will just do cartwheels in the background.
You're gonna look like G
I
from
love
Bob's
that.
Burgers with the hamburgers.
Yes.
This is me now.
We could be Bob's Burgers, guys.
Oh, we
I
could.
be- I
Only
could
if
be
someone is
Gina.
specifically Gene as a Sasquatch burger.
Okay, Kay can be regular Gene in the burger outfit, and then Burger Squatch. Charlie, you want to be Burger Squatch?
You keep forcing costumes onto him. Let him
It's
volunteer.
part of his agreement.
It's not.
His contract.
It is written
You
nowhere
never
in his
said what.
contract.
I didn't put that clause in there for nothing. I'm gonna exercise
Oh
it.
god.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
Alright,
my final
who else
thought
has a final
is
thought?
I didn't know anything about this, so it was definitely interesting hearing about something I haven't been too educated on, and it is interesting how it's like a different urban legend out that way. And I'm sure anybody that smells rotting flesh would want to leave that area anyways, wherever they are.
That was something interesting when I on the. It said specifically like if you're driving along, you'll smell the rotting flesh in the back of your car.
Ew.
couldn't
First.
possibly be your car. It's
Yeah.
ghost, guys.
It's a skunk you
Honey,
went by.
it's a ghost. Okay.
Like there's skunk cabbage. There's actual skunk out there. It could be anything. It could just be a
Yeah.
dead deer.
You run over a roadkill. No, honey, it's the ghost.
My final thought is I am 2,118 miles away from O'Hare Airport, and
And still somehow only 2 hours from
Plus
me.
or minus 5 minutes, Charlie.
plus or minus, yeah. But in thinking about Fort Stevens too, there's Fort Vancouver right downtown, right 10 minutes away from me. So that maybe that's going to be an episode. You never know.
Oh.
Whatever y'all want. Whatever you want. It depends on how you're feeling when you get your topic. I know that I feel like we all kind of have like mental topics that we want to get to. You guys want to talk about any of those so we can kind of
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, I will.
Literally gave us no time.
Joan, you had a face like I don't want to talk about it.
No, I was going to say them.
Oh, okay. Say them. Go. Be free.
Now there's a lot of pressure.
Oh, don't give me this pressure now.
I want to talk about the Greenbrier ghost at some point in time. I'd love to talk about the phenomenon such as white ladies and like why that keeps it like is a reoccurring ghost story that keeps coming up in different cultures. I have a notes list of other ones. I think I want to talk about the Irish doppelganger at some point. I really like to get into that lore. Let's see. I love to read. I talked about it before, but I would love to talk about Ghostwatch, and then also the AI paranormal that was happening like a year ago.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on that next week, actually, Joe.
And then also, I would love to do an episode about does The Simpsons actually predict the future?
Oh, that'd be great.
So yeah, I do have a list.
Anybody else want to talk about future shows that they are considering doing?
I think for my next topic, I'm going to be doing the Sierra Sounds, Ron Moorhead. So that's going to be interesting. It actually kind of correlates with the missing 411 in a way as well. So it'll be kind of like two topics in one in a way.
Cool. Charlie, okay. Sorry.
Go ahead, Kay.
I would like to talk about the tunnels in Portland or
Yes, please.
Seattle.
Yes.
And we've been talking about doing a game, so I would like to put together a game show.
We're doing one tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, you gotta hit me up about that. I've been working on game show stuff at my studio. You got we gotta get together on this. I'm just saying.
We'll do.
Also, if you guys can figure out how to play my favorite board game online, I would love to do that, which is Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Oh, I fucking love Betrayal. Oh my god. Oh, it's
Charlie,
the best
if we can
game.
figure out a way to play Betrayal, I will.
That'd
Do they
be
not
so
have
good.
an online format for it at this point? I feel like most
they
of
were
them
working
do.
on it at some point, but if we can figure out how to play, I would do things that will get me written up with HR.
But you gave that up for cheese.
You have no idea. I was in the
love-
doghouse for weeks.
You were. I love deception games, and that's why we were talking about at one point doing a cast grouping or like an outing on the internet of like playing Jackbox games, and there's several. I thought there was one that I would download specifically for Jesse where it was amongst us before Amongst Us was happening, where you have to
Amongst us.
find out who's an alien within the group.
I don't know what Jack's box.
Yeah.
I don't do games, so I don't know all the stuff you guys are talking about. I have no idea. I've never heard of any of it.
Oh, they're so fun, and they're interactive over the internet, and so much fun.
I can confirm because when Jessie was my neighbor, she never came down for game night.
Now, I got a childhood
those too.
trauma for game shit, so I don't fuck with it.
Was it Monopoly? Tell us where Monopoly hurt you.
On this doll.
Oh my
Show us
God.
on the doll where Monopoly hurt you.
We're gonna just leave. But
I think it's time for Jones' final thoughts.
I was.
You're not gonna like them. My final thought is, I talked about it briefly, how the Hookman was a nod at virginity and trying to save it, and I was trying to piece together how the Bandage Man would fit that, and I think he's just the embodiment of the saying, wrap it before you cap it.
I knew you were gonna get there. I knew it.
Oh, Jesus.
My final thought, I'm sorry, Kimberly. I'm sorry, Kay, for doing this to your topic. I'd also like to say that I'm going to protest, and I'm going to personally believe in Bandage Man, but not personally believe in the Hookman.
Because reasons.
Because reasons. Okay? Because reasons.
What a political stance to take.
Fuck yeah.
Bandage Man 2024.
Dude, Bandage Man, literally anyone else. 2020. I'm gonna write in Vermin Supreme again. Anyway.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. I really hope that if you're listening, you put in the comments what you'd like our team costume to be. Group costume. How many members we have? We got 7 members. We got 7 Late Night Legends on this team. I don't know if Shayna will do it, but with Shayna, we've got 7. We've got an idea of how 7 people can dress up. We'd love to know because we'd love to do it. And until then, see y'all next week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling friends. Thank you for telling mom. And yeah, we'll see y'all next week. We have a wonderful week. And we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.